It's January 9th, 2024, and this is Sketchworks NewsBrake. The news stops here. I'm Brian Troxell. Last week, the United States surpassed a record $34 trillion in government debt for the first time in history. According to the CBO, the debt is related to welfare benefits, military funding, and that time Joe Biden wired money to a Nigerian prince. President Biden will deliver the State of the Union address on March 7th after being invited by House Speaker Mike Johnson, who called this time a moment of great challenge for our country. The great challenge Johnson is referring to is how to keep Biden cognizant until March 7th. Saturday, at a campaign event in Clinton, Iowa, Donald Trump demanded the release of those jailed for their role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol because, well, he needs their votes. Trump doubled down on the absurd by saying the Civil War could have been negotiated, magnets don't work underwater, and the Commanders should keep head coach Ron Rivera. Now that right there shows you just how unbalanced Trump is. Embattled Harvard President Claudine Gay officially resigned last week after allegations of plagiarism. In her resignation address, she said that for serving at Harvard, she considers herself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Rehearsals are in full swing for our best of show, Sketchworks Wrapped. But this is your last week to get $3 off tickets with our early bird discount. Go to sketchworkscomedy.tix.page by Friday and use the code SKETCHIFY for $12 tickets. Your laugh per dollar ratio is nearly infinite. Shows run February 2nd, 3rd, 9th, and 10th at Limelight Theater here in Atlanta. Comedian Joe Coy hosted the Golden Globes and proved what happens when you hire someone at the last minute to host a Hollywood awards show. After many of his jokes bombed, Coy blamed his writers, which is not what professionals like me do. I just don't pay my writers. The Spice Girls will appear on a commemorative stamp in the UK, celebrating their 30th anniversary. Just a warning, these stamps will take a little more saliva than usual to get wet. A mob in New York City swarmed Bloomingdale's, grabbing $5,300 worth of designer sunglasses before one thief was arrested from the group. When asked to comment on his arrest, the thief stated, "One really is the loneliest number." Tiger Woods and Nike are no longer a couple. Woods ended his endorsement deal with Nike after nearly 30 years. Nike is now trying to find a golfer as famous as Woods to fill the void. And if that doesn't work, Nike may get desperate and hire Joe Coy. Last week, we celebrated our 200th episode. Here with a follow-up report on that momentous, historic milestone is Sketchworks NewsBrake correspondent John D. Babcock III.
Brian, congratulations on episode 201 of NewsBrake. Gosh, it seems like only last week we were celebrating episode 200 of NewsBrake. Probably because last week we were celebrating episode 200 of NewsBrake. And here we are celebrating 201, because that's how math works. I'm here at Chateau Lawn in Brazelton, Georgia, which is a town Kim Basinger once bought for $20 million and instantly regretted it. Well, as the French phrase goes, c'est la vie. So, for Sketchworks NewsBrake, from Chateau, I'm John D. Babcock III, here on episode 201. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Babs. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is recovering from a medical procedure that may be one of Washington, D.C.'s best-kept secrets. The Pentagon will only say Austin spent several days in intensive care due to severe pain. However, sources at the Pentagon say Austin's pain began when he found out Joe Coy would host the Golden Globes. Stay tuned for more of that dead horse. Turning to international news, Kim Yo-jong, sister of the chain-smoking North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, said their country's response to any provocation will be a baptism of fire, followed by a christening of artillery, and then a reception of destruction. Yes, there will be ambrosia salad. New evidence shows that Iran provided training to Hamas on how to produce and use precision-guided missiles. Military intelligence says the training included first-hand instruction, drills, and a continental breakfast. A man in Brazil died after falling into a 130-foot hole he dug in the floor of his kitchen after he had a dream there was gold under his home. Sources say Geraldo Rivera was outraged that he was not hired to find the gold in a live broadcast reviving his past semi-journalistic career. It's been 36 years, Geraldo. Nobody cares. If you want less or more or the same amount of Geraldo Rivera coverage, please like this video and click that subscribe button. Also, check out our short films and past streams of live shows, each one guaranteed to have no, some, or be nothing but mentions of Geraldo Rivera. And that wraps up our gratuitous plug segment. The famous physicist Stephen Hawking was named in the Epstein documents, along with being accused of having orgies. This is quite a shock until you remember that a kid will do anything to play on a computer. A Jewish high school girls basketball team had to cancel their game after the opposing team shouted anti-Semitic things such as, "I support Hamas, you effing Jew." So instead, the opposing girls team played their game in Gaza, where they were beaten with stones for wearing shorts. A tornado hit South Florida last weekend. It was the Buffalo Bills, as they beat the Miami Dolphins to win their fourth straight AFC East championship. The Dolphins did such a bad job in the second half of Sunday night's game, they've been asked to host the Golden Globes next year. In news of other things golden, the Golden Gate Bridge has installed a suicide net for the first time in its 87-year history. And fortunately, just in time for an election year. Yep, I've been told there's some breaking news at Chateau Elan. Here again is John D. Babcock III.
Brian, you remember that footage of that news lady who was stomping grapes at Chateau Elan and fell and got the wind knocked out of her and it sounded horrible?
Hey, stop! Oh, 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 yeah, ow, 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 oh, stop, oh.
Yeah, that was right here. That was right over here. Yeah. I got a little plaque up. It's right there. Anyway, that's where that happened. For Sketchworks Newsbreak, I'm John D. Babcock III, with my wind inside of me. It's not getting knocked out of me. Back to you.
I was told wrong. The Federal Aviation Administration grounded nearly 200 Boeing 737 MAX airplanes due to a blowout that ripped the door off an Alaska Airlines flight. However, the plane landed better than a Joe Coy joke at the Golden Globes. Staying in the air, aerial police footage went viral over the weekend after a viewer said they spotted a 10-foot extraterrestrial in the video at a Miami mall. Sources say the alien quickly exited the mall after he discovered Orange Julius was permanently closed. A 7-year-old golden doodle named Cecil ate $4,000 in cash his owners had set down on a counter. The owners were upset, but also glad he didn't eat the mound of cocaine that was next to the cash. Peloton announced they will enter into a new partnership with social media platform TikTok. Peloton hopes the partnership will help them connect with younger consumers, and TikTok hopes to connect with housewives afraid of body fat. Speaking of body fat, the makers of weight loss drugs Ozempic and Wegovy have announced that these medications are not linked to an increase in suicidal thoughts. It's reported that the only time people who take the drugs want to kill themselves is when they look at their before pictures. Maryland state park officials said A 14-foot piece of wood that washed up on Assateague State Park last month may be timber from a 19th century sailing ship. English in origin, possibly Spanish. A nautical vessel that perhaps ferried passengers and cargo across the waves of the Atlantic Ocean during a period of history we can never fully comprehend. Or it's just some old tree trunk. I mean, who the hell knows or cares? That's all for Sketchworks NewsBrake. We'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. I'm Brian Troxel. Say hi to your mom for me.
How did the president not know until this morning that it was cancer? How did 5 days go without knowing the diagnosis?
That is something that we're trying to find.
Not give an answer.
No, I hear you, but that is something that we are going to get a sense of this process, right? That's why they're going to do a review.